So you saw the unboxing, now let's take a look at the actual machine. Oh, this thing is heavy as hell, in a good way. It's solid, that's gotta be 30 plus pounds right there. Power supplies in the back, switches in the back, USB is on the side. One thing I like about it, just off the cuff, it's got a nice big touchscreen. I mean, that's maybe the biggest touchscreen I've seen in a long time, which is nice. The VAT, let's talk about the VAT. It is metal. Okay, let me just start saying this is the perfect VAT. Other manufacturers, if you're watching this, please emulate this VAT. It's not hard to do. It is metal. It has a lip going around it to help avoid spills. It has a little pour spout. It has markings, and I love it has feet, legs, whatever you want to call it. You can sit on the table without damaging your FEP. There's holes in the printer that those legs go into, so it fits perfectly. It comes taped. It comes with a glass screen protector on it. Everything about this screams quality. Now, you guys know I hate the plastic lift-off lids. This has a very nifty lid that folds up. Mine, if you watch the unboxing, came busted though. So, although I'd love to give the lid high marks, and without mine being functional, I will give it high marks because I love a flip-up lid like this. Unfortunately, it came shattered. The machine was well packaged though, but you probably can't see on the video, but there's even some slight damage to the front here. I was worried it might not work, but it worked great. Someone in the shipping process must have decided to throw this off, you know, like a 20-foot lift because it was packaged great, yet the screen came shattered and the machine came dented. So someone in the handling process really messed up badly. That being said, this thing is built like a tank though. I wonder if it had been a lesser printer and whatever they did to it might have done a lot more damage. So I'm very impressed with the build quality. They've got a ball rod for the Z, nice and thick, and then two thick rods here for the Z. So it's dual axis with a ball screw. Awesome, and the arm is thick, strong metal. I mean, this thing is really built quality, and it should be because if you look at the pricing, I believe this is now around $950. So for the same build volume as like a Saturn, you know, you're talking, you know, not quite double the price, but almost. So it better be, you know, a better machine. Okay, so you know, and we'll see. We're gonna look at the light source test now, and the light source test. Fantastic. Look how even this lighting is. On a screen this size, what they do is instead of just using the parallel light array and shooting the light straight up, they reflect the light so they can project it evenly, and you see it does great in a light source test, which is, you know, that's really important in a big printer. The bigger the printer, the more important I think it is even that you have less hot and cold spots on there when you're doing, you know, bigger prints with heavier supports and all that stuff. You really want to make sure that you have a very even light source, and this printer delivers. So yes, it's more expensive than everything else, and of course it's always personal preference whether you want to pay to get all the upgrades, but built like a tank, all the little bells and whistles that I actually want to see on a printer, they actually did on this one. So I'm actually pretty happy to see a manufacturer do all the little things, like getting the VAT exactly right, making sure the Z is perfect, light source is excellent, screen protector, you know, just everything that you'd want in the machine. I feel like this is one company, for this machine at least, they were paying attention to what people talk about in Facebook groups or online or even in reviews, and they kind of checked all the boxes. And this might be one of the first printers that I reviewed that I think finally checked like every box of what they should do. Now, let's talk about some things that I think are not problematic, but first of all, it's not locked to Shitterbox, so for a lot of you, that's going to make you happy. And it works with Lychee. You control on this gorgeous touchscreen, because it's a nice big touchscreen, very easy to use, which is another, I'm glad they put a nice big touchscreen there. You can control all your resin settings from there. So if you have a print that say failed and you had 3-second exposure for your layer saying it failed, and you go, oh, I need 3.2. Instead of having to go reslice the file, you can just change on here the settings to 3.2 seconds for the exposure and just change it right on the machine. And that's because they have supposedly a more powerful, you know, computing processor in the board, And that also allows for built-in Wi-Fi, true built-in Wi-Fi, so you can control the printer, from your phone if you want. So again, this printer is a lot more expensive, but again, has a lot more bells and whistles. And now what we need to do though is I need to show you prints and let's look at what the actual product is, because you can have all the bells and whistles, solid construction, and a nice vat, but you need to print well, you need to print reliably, and that we never know until we actually test the printer. That's why we don't go by specs, right? We actually have to test the printers and see what they do, make sure, like I can't imagine this Z would flex at all, but you have to test it, right, to see. So let me go and get some prints, get some pictures, and we'll come back and talk about this machine a little bit more. Thanks. So after printing with it for a couple of days, I'm very happy to report this thing prints great. I have to admit, after unboxing it and inspecting the machine, I was expecting it to print great, because with a stable seaming Z, a great light source, strong board, why wouldn't it print well, right? So it did not disappoint. So I printed obviously a lot more than this, but this is what I just brought down to hold in my hand while I was talking, and I'll show close-up photos. I print the same models over and over again on the machine. I printed on all the corners of the machine, and as I expected, based on the light source being even, the machine printed very nicely at all four corners. I didn't see any drop-off at all in the light or details at any of the prints on the corners or anything like that. So that was good. It did a really nice job on this guy, which I was able to do all in one go, even though it's a lot of different parts, and it was reliable. So I printed, I would say it was 4 or 5 days, I can't be sure. I printed all the time though, just putting the machine through its paces, and performed really well. I think I had one fail right at the beginning with adhesion, because I think I just had, my bottom exposure was just set too low. And as soon as I corrected that, everything stuck perfectly. I'm very happy. The details and the way the print comes out, it's weird. It looks, and you'll see in the pictures, they look really smooth. Now, of course, they have layers. It's 3D printers, there are layers, but for some reason, they don't. It's harder to see them on these. These kind of look like just like buttery smooth, but the details there. The printer almost came out like a little shinier than from my other printer. So I'm not sure what that means. It looks great though. So print it accurately. Okay, so what we want, a printer this size, especially if you spend nearly $1,000 to get it. Although I do think, when looking at their page though, I think if you're in a country that has VAT, I think because they already have it to their distributors in Europe, I think you don't pay any VAT if you get this printer. So I believe, I have to double check that, but so that might make it a little less expensive than it appears on the surface if you don't have to pay VAT. But anyway, results were quite gorgeous. And again, if you're gonna pay this kind of money, what you want out of a printer is the least headache possible. Just you want it to be reliable. So it printed great for me. Like I said, once after that initial fail, just because I had my bottom exposure off, printed fantastic, nothing even close to a fail, and just very functional. And I wanted to say something that I can't remember what it was now. I looked very, very carefully at the Z when it was printing, and there was absolutely zero flex, bend, whatever you want to call it. That arm and the Z did not move at all. It was stable as anything. So that's good news also, because that means it should result in very good accuracy in the prints. And like I said, what I printed over and over again, and every print came out the same basically, they look great, I think. So fairly high resolution and reliable, accurate, just beautiful, beautiful stuff. So I'm actually happy for this. Full disclosure, Creality sent me this for review. Doesn't impact my review at all. I could care less. They send me one for free, or if I buy it, doesn't matter. But I do have an admitted, again, doesn't affect my review, I have an admitted soft spot for the company Creality in general, just because nostalgia-wise for me, The first 3D printer I ever owned was the Ender 3. So I'm always hoping Creality will come out with good resin printers to compete in the resin area. And the LD006, I think it was, which I reviewed, was pretty good, but was very late to the party. This printer is very good, and it's not late. It's on time. It's competitive. The only bugaboo here being the price. And I do think they're higher build quality than what I've seen from other companies. But again, it's comes with a hefty price tag. So that's up to a personal thing. If someone says to me, "Well, Greg, is it worth it?" I say, if you have the extra money, it's always good to get something that's built better and has maybe some better components than something else. But is it absolutely necessary is a different story, because like for me, my Saturn has been performing flawlessly also. So, it's just up to personal preference. I mean, maybe if you're running as a business and you can write off the expense and you just want to ensure you have the least problems possible, maybe because it seems to be so well built and has all the bells and whistles, maybe this is a good choice then. But anyway, either way, I think you definitely will not go wrong if you buy this printer. You're not going to buy it and like, "Oh, I regret this thing sucks." Like, that's not going to happen. It's a very high quality piece of equipment, and like I said, checks every single box you want it to check. So like I said, if you buy it, I don't think you'll go wrong at all. So that's it for my review. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer. I do wish that my my lid had come not broken, so I could show you the lid, how it worked and everything. And I love lids that have hinges, so I'm still giving the cover a +1 point, even though it showed up broken, because I don't think that was Creality's fault. Like I said, when the box I got, the printer itself and the lid, it looked like someone picked it up and tossed it off a small cliff probably. So that's it. Please like, please subscribe, please check out my other review videos. I've got a lot more resin reviews that I'm in the process of making, so come back and check those out so you can see what resins will work best for you. And thanks for checking out the channel, and happy 3D printing.